What's going on, everybody? This is going to be our first attempt at trying to port the exhaust on a weed eater. Now, you can see looks like it's got some pretty decent meat in there that can come out. And so the plan, get this back, is to open the exhaust up a little bit. Nothing crazy. Now this trimmer, everybody I'm sure could recognize. This is our old faithful Walmart brand. It's the get it up there. Good old Hyper Tough. It's the one we've had this for 3 years. This thing, it's been shown no mercy. It's been, ran hard for 3 years. It's I forget what cc this one is. It's 26 cc. So we bought this one brand new. We've made multiple videos of both of them because we bought 2 of them. And this one, the last video I think I had this one in, we was trying to run it on different types of 2-cycle mix. It runs great on regular, but we done kerosene, brake fluid, engine oil, and I think something else. But and it ran, and it's been used and abused. I did start it before I brought it down here. I drained the fuel tank and drained all that out of the system, put some regular gas in it. Had a heck of a time getting it to start. Eventually it started and ran, and it's seen better days. So with that said, I'm not about to try, because I've never ported one of these before, and I was wanting to port a chainsaw out at some point, and instead of wasting a good chainsaw, I figured why not try this. So the plan is we're going to port the exhaust out a little bit, nothing extreme, and the muffler. The main reason this has actually had someone ask me if I've ever done it before, and I have not. So bear with me and keep in mind this is not going to be a perfect job. It's not like it's going to get ported and polished and and all that hoopla. Oh, my main goal was just to get some of the meat out of it and see what happens. So before I brought it down, it did run. I had to crank it didn't want to idle. I had to crank the idle up enough to get the spool head to spin. And once I'd done that, it'd sit there and it was just idling high. You crank the idle down to normal, it did not like it. So this thing's been through the mill. So all I'm going to do is use an old trusty Dremel, and I only got the 1 bit, but it'll do the job. And so I'm just going to take and get a little bit out at a time, just so I don't overdo it. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing this at home. This, for me, it's just going to be trial and error. So what I will do is, if I can get it to drop down, I'm going to drop the piston down so I don't go digging into the side of it. Then we really have issues. If I can get it down, there we go. So that's as good as I'm going to get it right there. So I'll do some digging on this thing, and if I can make any progress, I'll show you what I got. This video might be a total fail, but I'm going to try. That's about as good as I'll be able to get it with the tools that I'm using. It's really close hitting that piston. Of course, piston's part way up now, but I had it all the way down in the cylinder. Went through, took it up to the gasket. So got a little bit of meat off of it. And so we'll see how that works out. And trust me, I'm no pro at this by any means whatsoever when it comes to like the port and all that. But the muffler had that mesh screen in there. Tried to get it out, and the piece came loose. So I'm sure it's going to make a really nice noise when it's running, but it is open, so there's nothing there at all. It's just in there bouncing around. So we'll get this hot mess back together and see if this old Hyper Tough will actually start up. I got a new plug for it, and I'll get it reassembled and see what we end up with. My guess is parts. Alright, it's about our moment of truth to see how bad I screwed this up. Well, you know how it goes. Win some, lose some. But good enough. For me, it's about trial and error. I'd rather try it on this old one and make an error instead of screwing up a good one. We're about to find out the plug. I didn't put the new plug in. I just went ahead and wire brushed the old one and threw back in it. I was saying, I started this up when I drained all that mixed up goofy fuel we had in it for that other video. It was hard to start, but it did start and run. But hopefully she'll start up at least. So far, nothing. It acts like it ain't even getting no fire. Well, I guess I better make sure I didn't screw those two wires up. There's two wires in there for the stop switch. Hopefully one of them didn't come loose when I reassembled it, so I'm going to check and see if all these got fire. Alright, so here's our end result of this disaster. Hard as I tried, I cannot get this thing to start with this muffler on. This is the one I took the screen out of. Well, actually I didn't take it out. It came loose and it's laying in the bottom of the muffler. Would not do it. So got another one, factory, original style. It has the mesh in it, so it does just put a hole right down through the mesh and fired right up. Actually, I'm really surprised. So it must just be something to do with I don't know the correct terms of it, but with basically like compression and suction, how it pulls on the fuel and all that good stuff. So I'm sure that had something to do with it. But I'll get it fired up for you, and it's I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it to another one. It well, granted, this one has a really bad carb, but we'll get it fired up here in just a second. Alright, so back to this thing. See if it'll start up. Take care of some business real quick, and hopefully, well, the dog don't knock over. Hopefully she'll fire up. You guys will see there's not really much. Just a little bit louder. Does torque a little bit better, but it's not enough to make it worth doing, in my personal opinion. If you went and done like some kind of crazy work, I guess you could throw a better carburetor on it, a little bit bigger carburetor, and adjust it. These ones, I think I've showed you guys these carburetors before. There is no, actually, no. Well, yeah, here you go. This is the type of carb it is. A little bit different. It's same, but this is off of a 4-cycle blower. You can see it's like most of the ones you see. These, as far as I know, there is no real high-low air fuel adjusting type deal on them. But you just have the idle screw and you hope for the best. But this is off of a 4-cycle Craftsman blower that I was going to try to put on here, but it mounts differently. It's completely backwards from, instead of setting this way, it sets this way, which kind of defeats the purpose. But I don't know, I tried, but I see no personal gains of it. But I know it did make a difference with got that mesh being in there, just letting it free flow out the exhaust. It did make a difference, but that trimmer wouldn't even start. And it's like I was saying, I just got another muffler just like this one, and just put a small hole straight through the mesh so it would flow out. And if everything flows better, but I don't see it being enough of a difference to make it worth the hassle personally. I mean, you get a little bit more rev out of it, but I don't know. I personally wouldn't do it. And but thanks for watching. I was hoping we'd get a pretty cool result out of it, but as some people have. I've done a little research on it before I broke the Dremel out on it, and some people say it's worth doing if you have a name brand trimmer, you know, like Stihl and stuff like that, that it is actually worth doing to them, just to, you know, trim the fat off a little bit, open the muffler up, and you can see a significant amount of difference on those. But so a lot of them were saying with like Ryobi and the cheaper brands, Yard Machine, you know, MTD, all those, said you're wasting your time. Said it's one guy said it's like trying to polish a turd, which, you know, whatever. But thanks for watching. I thought we'd have a better result, but I gave it a shot. All right, we'll catch you at the next one.